Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It's Thursday. I hope we're ready to go. Ready for some celebrations? Good morning, Owen Shogi. I see you out there. Tom F, Equus Hearts, everybody coming in. This is a very important one. Hit the like button and share this out on your social medias. We do have a special guest hopefully coming in soon because we don't have a show without the guest. I will have to change course completely if that happens, but hopefully she makes it. Six, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
3, 2, 1, launch. Cool.
Welcome back, Fun Fam. And if you're brand new to the channel, welcome in to follow the Bradley's Fun. My name is Ron E. Bradley. I hope that wherever you are, you're having a phenomenal day. Speaking of the day, as of the recording of this, it is the 22nd day of August, 2024. Welcome to the Daily Dish. We have a very special show and a very special guest waiting backstage to come on. So I'm going to go through the intro a little bit quicker than usual. Welcome everybody in, and then we'll bring the guest on. First and foremost, of course, we want to remind everybody that if you want your chat highlighted, or you drop a membership, you drop a super, anything like that, we do have a celebration. And it's a little bit longer than this one, but this is the short version. And we always like to start out with a celebration to all of you. So here we go.
Is it too much? Too much?
Perfect. Oh, this is just the best of my scene. We love to celebrate. And let's welcome everybody in. Let me see. Go into the chat. All right. First in the door this morning was Juliet from, I believe, across the pond. Says, good afternoon, follow the Bradleys and chat. Tom F., all the way from the Space Coast, says, good morning, all. Abris Carmageddon. Universal just released their Grand Helios Hotel video today, so we'll have to check that out later. And of course, I said, smash that like button on the way in. Exart, good morning. You've had your coffee. I tell you what, I have my caffeinated beverage right here. So, God, the wake up juice. Going Shogi says, good morning, all. And Canadian Family Life, Tiffany is in the house. So welcome in, Tiffany. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Tiffany. Amanda, wait. And this is an important comment because this is what we are going to be talking about today. Really interested in this topic. The new DAS is no longer available to so many that truly need it. Disney needs to do better. And that's why we're wanting to get this message out there today, because it's really all about Disney doing better. Echo's Heart, drop some treats. Going Shogi, says the Grimly. And my beautiful wife is in the chat this morning. Good morning to Virginia, my beautiful wife. She is out running some errands this morning. Yeah, coffee time, she says. And Diane, good morning, new to your channel. Looking forward to the chat. Diane, welcome in. Thank you so much. And then Going Shogi, and this will lead right into our special guest. Says, I have not been denied disability support before, but I have had a cast member give my physically handicapped mom a very hard time. They made my mom feel like a burden. I'm still fuming. Yes, no one should feel that way. And we'll lead into our guest with this one. They shouldn't have left the DAS as it was. With a few that abused the systems, could have just banned those that were caught. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different approaches, but we're going to be talking about it today with our very special guest, ToriLynn. I want to bring her on now. So we are going to add here over here. There we go. Welcome in, ToriLynn. Are we there? Can you hear me okay?
Hi.
Here. Okay, perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, this is ToriLynn. We met on Facebook. And since you and I have met and chatted and had this discussion with Pro, I have looked at some other comments about disability access service and what people are going through. And it is unfortunate that what I am finding is that your experience is actually not unique. So we're going to have you tell your story today. So ToriLynn, if you want to just tell everyone about yourself and your family situation and your love of Walt Disney World, we can start there.
Yeah, absolutely. So I am ToriLynn McElry. I am a mother of a set of 3-year-old twins, and one of them was born with a couple heart defects. And because of those heart defects, he was given a G tube, which is a feeding tube. And that was based off of a developmental disability that he wasn't able to finish his feeds, and therefore he actually doesn't eat by mouth right now. Whenever he's overstimulated because he has a sensory processing disorder, which is usually the case with kids that have G tubes, he vomits frequently. So I grew up with a Disney pass. I was born and raised here in Plant City, live in Tampa, and I had Disney Pass since I was in the 6th grade. So I could not wait for the day that I actually had my own kids and my own family to be able to share the awesome memories and like the favorite memories that I have with my family, to be able to do that with my actual family, my children. And Luke did get approved for DOS or DAS a while back, and we had it for the 30 days. And then when I went to reapply, it was so much easier for us because I would try to use the Genie Plus. Genie Plus, you only had a 1-hour window of riding that ride. The problem was that we were trying to change his feed schedule around that 1 hour, so that way I can make sure that his stomach is empty. So in case he were to get overstimulated and start gagging, nothing would come up. It became very convoluted trying to get his feeding schedule to work. And then, he also has some hypoglycemia issues. So that's when I decided to apply for the disability service. And after I tried to reapply after the first 30 days, I had to spend about an hour and a half on a video call with 4 people. 2 of them apparently were medical providers, and giving them the same story over and over again. And, trying to coerce my son into talking to them. They were asking me a bunch of questions on how he handles different situations, which is different in every scenario. And at the end of that call, they told us that we were denied, and maybe, Disney isn't the right place for my son right now, which was disheartening. They did give me some other alternatives. The alternatives aren't going to work out because the one of them was if, another adult is with me and could wait in the regular line, and then they put us in whenever they're like 10 minutes before getting on the line. Problem is that most of the time I'm by myself with my 2 3-year-olds. So
I think we lost her for a second. Just waiting to see if we get ToriLynn back. I know the connection's not great this morning. Give me a second. Let me see if we can get ToriLynn back. Move. Yeah, I'm gonna put her back on here. Let me see. So her connection is. All right. She's trying to get her connection back, I believe. I'm going to try and get her back, and when she comes back, I want to have her tell the story of why she's a Disney fan in the first place. Hopefully she can make it back in. Give me just a second, and I'm going to try and get in touch with her and see if we can get this going. Just give me just a minute, guys. Chat amongst yourselves, because this is an important discussion. I want to see if I can get her back. I tell you what, in the meantime, for all of you who have joined us today, and I am so grateful for that, let's have our little bit of a long celebration while we work on getting her back, okay?
Is it too much? Too much? It's perfect! Wahoo! Oh, this is too much. Give me a break. I couldn't be more excited. Okay, this anticipation is making me mental. But if they say yes, you can be on the show. I think I would go so crazy.
All right, we have ToriLynn back. Whoops. Do we have? No, wait. There you go. You click something and it takes like a minute to react. So we got ToriLynn back. Yay! I wanted you to tell everyone your growing up experience with Walt Disney World. Before we get into the other stuff, what was that like for you? Why would you even want to bring your kids to this place?
Well, I mean, I grew up there doing my favorite family memories are in those parks. So I wanted the same family memories with my kids. So that was when I started taking them as early as they were 6 months old. Actually, it's probably about a year because they were COVID babies. As soon as they turned 3, I went ahead and bought them annual passes. It's some of their favorite things to do. They always wanted, whenever I say, what do you want to do? Let's go to Disney World, Mickey Mouse, as my son would say. So that's one of the main reasons why we go.
And let's see if I can invite someone else to this chat. Yeah, so, and then you had said, prior to even learning about disability access, you did try using the Genie Plus, which is now the Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, have they've rebranded at. Basically, that is a system where you get a window of time, but the window is 1 hour, and then those rides are scheduled at particular times. So you said that what was going on with the Genie Plus and that using that system that wasn't working for you?
Yeah, the thing that wasn't working for us with the Genie Plus was that 1 hour window. If it were around a time that he would be on a feed or right after, I
know we're missing some audio here.
A lot of the Genie.
There we go. You're cutting in and out a little bit.
I don't know if it's this weather or what that's making my internet not be so great today.
No, do you have Spectrum?
We do have Spectrum.
Yeah. Spectrum has been giving me a lot of issues lately. You can ask my audience. But I've had to do all kinds of different things to try and work my way around their internet system. I think they're revamping the whole thing right now.
Of course.
I'm sending a message to someone. Let's see if it works. Yeah. So you were using Genie Plus, and the biggest issue with that is that the hour window, like DAS works with a return time. You can choose to come back to the ride or attraction anytime after that. And so you were able to get the DAS pass at first, and that was working out, right?
Yes, it was so much easier because then we were able to just kind of relax, have his feed. We weren't on a timetable of that 1 hour time frame, and I could ensure that his stomach was empty. So that way, if he did get overstimulated, nothing was in his stomach, and he wouldn't have the possibility of vomiting, and which is a bad experience for him, but then also a potential bad experience for other guests.
Right. I mean, I know that we've talked about gosh, what if you have to buy a shirt for somebody, or like their experience is not good. People thinking that you have a sick son, but he's not sick. Mm-hmm. This is just, a reflex type of thing. I know a lot of people that have a reflex issue like that, where if they have stuff in their stomach, they gag, they don't notice. it just happens, right? So it's not like they're sick. It's just a thing. Okay, I do have a special guest backstage. I'm going to bring her on too, just to add to the discussion. This is my good friend Lorena Creole, and we go to the parks and we cover all this stuff. And I want to get her thoughts as well. But I'm going to ask you to go a little bit more into your story about the interview. Bring on Lorena. Hello.
Absolutely.
Hello, good morning. Nice to meet
Good
you.
morning. So Lorena, Tony, Lorena.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise.
And Lorena goes to the parks, Disney, a lot. Have you spoken with any friends or family or anyone who has had a situation with this new DAS where they've been denied, where it's not working?
No, I haven't had any experience with the new DAS or talked with people about the new DAS, and that's mainly because back when I was taking my daughter and her cousins, and they were all on the autism spectrum, we had something called the guest assistance pass at that period of time, which to me I thought was much better. All they needed to know was what accommodations did they need, and I basically said, someplace quiet where they can kind of wait until their time to get on, to get on the attraction. And that's pretty much what they gave me. They gave me this pass, and I was just to show it to a cast member in the oh my gosh, in the fast ooh, this is dating myself, in the fast pass lane. And either they would either put us in the fast pass, or like say for Pirates of the Caribbean, they would kind of have us over to the side where they would bring in physically challenged guests to bring them into the queue. And it actually worked really, really well. But I haven't talked about anyone directly about this new process. But from what I've been hearing, like via Pros channel and through you, Ron, and a couple of other people who've been putting this on YouTube, now it's the equivalent of like a medical inquisition, which is really upsetting because Disney is one of those places, what used to be one of those places where if you had special needs or special accommodation, you were basically treated like a rock star. They went above and beyond to make it a great experience for not only for the person who needs the accommodation, but for the whole family as well. So it's very disappointing to hear this.
Well, yeah, and obviously the thing is they're associated with Give Kids the World Village,
Right.
Make-A-Wish Foundation, all of these foundations. It's clear that in the past they've made these accommodations, but it seems like what they've done now is limited this to literally one thing. You have to be on the autism spectrum, and there's a very specific place or need. But what I want ToriLynn to do is, if you go ahead and elaborate, what was your experience of getting on the call this time, and specifically that interview process? How long did it take? How did it make you feel? What all happened? Go ahead and reiterate that. I know we have new people coming into the chat, so.
Yeah, absolutely. So I got on the video call, and I even read before I got on to the video call that, it's geared for people that have autism or a developmental disability. And Luke's feeding tube is a developmental disability. That qualifies as a developmental disability because he's not able to eat. And he was placed that because of a developmental disability that he has. I explained to the first person that I talked to on the video, we've had it for the past 30 days. We're going to be going back to the park here this week. It was very beneficial for us versus trying to use the Genie Plus. And I gave her the reason why. And then, I had to have Luke with me, of course, and she wanted to see Luke and try to talk to him. He doesn't really talk unless you kind of coerce him. I mean, he's developmentally behind, and he's only 3 years old. So I, did that with him, and, told him, Disney World, Mickey Mouse, where do you want to go this week? And then she said that she wanted to bring in somebody else on the video call. So she did, and then introduced, and I basically gave them the same story. Let them know that, Genie Plus didn't work out for us. We've tried it in the past. And it worked for us because of his stomach contents being empty, the whole spiel again. And then she started asking me questions like, how does Luke handle restaurants? How does Luke handle being at the airport? And, in line for TSA. And I had to explain to them, well, we don't wait in line at TSA because we get TSA Cares. I have to get TSA Cares because I have to check in or check on his, carry on all of his medical supplies. So we don't wait in line for that. And we also haven't flown in 2 years. So it's a little different. Restaurants, again, we go around when his feeds are going to be off or when he's about to start a feed. So that way he's on a feed while we're sitting at a dinner table, but also because his stomach is empty as we're entering the restaurant, because that can be overwhelming for him. Then they brought in 2 medical providers, as they described them. And I talked to each one individually again. And again, the same story, why it was beneficial for us, why I think he needs it, and after about, I want to say it was like an hour and 15 minutes at least, again, basically coercing my son to try to speak to them. And all he wanted to do was count to 20 and then backwards. So after all of that, that's when they gave me a couple of alternatives. One of them was, if there's another adult with me, that they wait in the regular line once we're 10 minutes apart or once we're 10 minutes away, then we can get into the line for him to get on. Problem with that is that I'm not, and they didn't really explain what these were. I had to they just send me links and then I just read them. And I could have actually said to them that that's not going to work because 99% of the time that I'm taking the kids to Disney, I'm by myself. My husband doesn't have a pass. My husband's not as big of a Disney fan as I am. So the other alternative was kind of, what you were speaking to about the quiet zone or quiet areas that are for people with sensory issues or autism. My son's not autistic. He just has these sensory overload because of the lack of exposure he's had with having the G-tube. And he gets over it very fast. It's just, with that whole sensory processing and the VSD that he has, if he gets too worked up, that blood flow is going to go to his stomach, and that's what's basically causing it to come back up. So we were denied, and they gave me the links and then hung up, and that was it. So that was basically my experience on the video call.
Yeah, and I'm having an issue with the fact that they're doing a full-scale interrogation.
Yeah.
And
yeah, it was really interesting.
Reiterate, if you will, what was it that they said to you about your son and your situation with Disney World before you hung up?
They, after giving me the links and kind of going through that, they just said, maybe Disney isn't the best place for your son right now. That was pretty disheartening for me, especially with the childhood that I had, that, I'm not going to be able to give my son that same experience because of a developmental disability that he has. I was actually pretty much in shock. That's why I couldn't almost argue or even know what to say after they said that.
I'm going to get Lorena's thoughts before I share mine.
Okay. I'm sorry. Please restate the question.
Oh, no. Did you hear ToriLynn, what they said to her at the end of the call?
Yes. And it's disgusting.
Yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on the whole.
It's so, and I feel it for you, because as a mother of a special needs child, of course she's much older now, Disney World was the one place that was so accommodating to her, and not only just her, but for so many other special needs kids. It was like a place that they could go and really, really felt like, like they belonged. The cast members were amazing, especially the face characters were amazing as well. And it breaks my heart and it makes me angry that this fundamental, and I'll call it exactly what it is, this fundamental Disney difference, because that's what it was, is now replaced by this, well, we're doing you a favor by letting you into our parks or making accommodations for you, instead of the what can we do to make this an experience that is unforgettable for you and your family. It's absolutely disgusting.
I
Well,
agree. And
that's
I think, if it's just one, like people that don't live here in Florida, maybe they're a little bit more giving and they let them, have the pass knowing that they're not going to come back. I don't know if maybe it's people who do live here in Florida and we're taking advantage of the system. I'm not looking for any kind of special treatment. I'm just looking to make sure that my son isn't vomiting and I'm having to carry a barf bag and catch it.
Mm-hmm.
That way he doesn't throw up on another guest. And then,
there's another thing where I feel like they can look at the record of people who have had disability access service in the past and see they've probably been riding fewer rides. My guess is that even with the service, you're not able to get to as many different attractions. You've got to be taking care of your kids more.
Mhm.
So it just, the denial of so many doesn't make much sense. And also for me, and Lorena can chime in here, I haven't noticed any difference in the wait times as far as averages are concerned. It doesn't seem like any of this has changed the lines any. What do you think, Lorena?
No, it hasn't changed any of the lines at all from what I can see. But what I'll add, and this is just from me observing, I think that what Disney wants to do is to monetize this. That's why they're saying, "Oh, we'll buy Genie Plus," or buy the new Lightning Lane and all of that to monetize that, which is pretty disgusting. The lines were perfectly fine. They had this literally down to a science
Mhm.
with integrating folks into the line. And there used to be times when the attractions would stop to load people on. People were pretty much used to that happening. Not all the time, but they did it, very, very, very seamlessly. And I'll just say that, and this is just me, I think that regardless whether you're a local or whether you're from out of town, Disney needs to be consistent with
Mhm.
doing this. It's one of the things that I loved so much about the parks was that it didn't matter who you were, what level of hotel you were staying at, whether you were a day guest, whether you were an international guest. Disney still gave that same standard of service to everyone. And considering how much this company has been nickeling and diming people, I just think that they're just trying to monetize this, which even makes it even worse.
I agree. And I think there should be a way for them to be able to look back as to who has used it, because I did let them know that, I understand people do take advantage of this, but when we are not with our son, I use Genie Plus. If we are with our son and we want to do, a big ride, Guardians of the Galaxy, Space Mountain, and any of that kind of stuff, we pay for Genie Plus. He's not going to get on that. He's too small, and then that's going to be way too much for him. So, I think there's a way to look back and scan and see when my pass or other people's passes have been scanned, and whether or not they've used Genie Plus or the disability service. Also, whenever we are at Magic Kingdom and I had the disability access, I would use it for one ride. But if it was a ride that only had a 5-minute wait, that I knew that we could probably handle a 5-minute wait, we just got into the regular line. I wouldn't use the disability pass, because at that point it's like, well, I mean, it's a 5-minute wait. That's how much you're going to wait whenever you actually use your disability pass. If he has an empty stomach, let's just go ahead and get in the normal queue.
Some of my issues are, first of all, the interview itself is extremely interrogating. That's not Disney at all in the past. That's so weird. That's just weird. the fact that they told you maybe Disney's not the place for your son right now, that's
Yeah.
also really strange. Like, and then breaking up families. Like, you come as a family to Disney. Why do they say, well, you just need to break your party up for like the hour or whatever? And they just, all of these things are so not the experience Lorena has had, you've had in the past, I've had in the past. It's so strange to see Disney change this way. I hope that they start listening. I hope that they start rectifying. I think they can. This is a very early situation. This change just took place at the end of May. I don't necessarily think there needs to be a lawsuit if Disney will listen to the guests and just provide a slightly different alternative, especially when it comes to children and getting them in. That's what's so strange to me. Like, I look at, so I was a cast member in the past, and from 2014 to 2016 especially, I remember the Disney difference. That's what my job was actually to tout, to tell people about why they should come to Disney, not just once, but all the time. I worked for Disney Vacation Club, so I was inviting people to come and stay at least once a year or maybe multiple trips a year, spend your money with Disney. And I could talk about the Disney difference. I could talk about guest accommodations. I could talk about disability accommodations. I could talk about the disabled rooms and all the things we did there. But also the other Disney difference: free fast passes, free transportation from the airport, where you could check your bags in at your home airport and find them at your room when you got to Disney with the Magical Express. Obviously, free parking at the hotel, which went away and then came back, so that's good. But there's just all kinds of differences that they added in that they've since taken away. So this is kind of icing on the cake to all the things that they've taken away. And I just think that they need to reevaluate when it comes to their parks, especially because I think it was about, I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, I'm not sure exactly, but they introduced a new key. Now, the company, as a company, when Walt Disney started it, Walt himself introduced what he called the 4 key basics. And these are foundational to the Walt Disney Company. And they are safety, that's number 1. Courtesy, number 2. Show is number 3. And efficiency. Okay, so those 4 key basics were always in place. They came from Walt Disney himself. Courtesy was a huge thing. They introduced a new key that I'm like, well, that was already there as part of courtesy. And that new key was called inclusion. But since they've introduced this 5th key, they've been less including of people. And I'm like, how do you introduce this key and then start pushing people away? So I've just found that a little bit, I don't know, hypocritical or ironic or whatever. But I think you're like I am. Love Disney World. Don't want to stop going. We just want to see if any mistakes are made that they're rectified. Correct?
Agree. Yes, 100%. I'm not, whenever I did the local news interview, I'm not looking for anything. I just think, I just want to be the voice of all these people that even had access and now are being denied. Like, be a voice, and I just, let's rethink this process and see how we can make this better, because it definitely can be done better.
And I've seen a number of people that you might be in this group on Facebook as well, a group that talks about people who have the disability access needs. Many people in that group after this interview are so mad that they don't plan on coming back to Disney at this point ever. And that's not really great for business. Lorena, what are your thoughts?
It is definitely not good for business. Like I said before, and like you guys have discussed as well, There used to be that Disney difference. That was, that was there. Disney was the one place you could go with your family. And if you had someone who had special needs or someone who had disabilities, it was keeping you all together as a family. What can we do to make the whole family's experience better? And Disney has gotten so far away from that. And I think one of the things that they do not understand is how bad it is with this information getting out, considering how many other folks who will get asked, hey, is Disney a good place for me to go? Because I have a disability. And a lot of people are like, yeah, this is why you should go. Now we're seeing all this stuff and we're just like, no, you shouldn't go. You shouldn't go at all. And it's going beyond, when this stuff is getting out, you'll have people like me and other people, especially who like to donate to places like Give Kids the World, Make-A-Wish Foundation. Anytime we hear about that, it's just like, yeah, how much do you need? Pretty much the Give Kids the World Village with the lights at Christmas that sells out every year. I keep forgetting to go, and I can't get a ticket. This is all bad, nasty publicity, and it's really going to bite Disney in the butt. I don't even think they realize how bad this. Well, they probably do, and they just don't care, honestly, which is, to their detriment.
It's a shame.
I hope they do care. Have there been any other parks? Have you tried Universal or anything like that as far as a accommodation for your son, or not yet?
I haven't yet. I was never the biggest Universal fan. I do need to try it. I have heard amazing things about it. In fact, in that comments of the post that I had done on Facebook, people were saying it's almost like a flawless program. And I actually talked to somebody at my kid's preschool yesterday, and her grandson is autistic, and they used it at Universal. And she said it's very old school. Like they actually physically write something down, and each attraction a different color or something. And she said it really worked. And they are actually afraid of trying to get into Disney and getting the disability service for her grandson, because he does not stand in line very well. So she was afraid and wanted to talk to me about that since seeing me on the news. But I do want to try Universal system and see how it works out.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend giving it a try. By this time next year, they'll have 3 open parks, so you'll have a lot of diversity and different. As someone who goes to Universal not as frequently as I used to, but I've actually worked for both Universal and Disney. I was a scare actor in 2010. Universal is great. They just opened their DreamWorks area for kids, which is phenomenal. It's so cute.
Shout out.
And then also they have Dr. Seuss Land, and they have the Grinch over there. They have all kinds of. My son is totally looking forward to Mario. I mean, like, his world is Mario everything. So when they open Super Mario, like Super Nintendo World next year, I mean, I imagine that we'll probably be going to Epic Universe. But I definitely recommend, if you get a chance, give that a shot. They actually have a Florida resident ticket right now where it's $199, and it gets you in every day until the end of the year, as many times as you want to come. Yeah.
We were going to do that with Busch Gardens here in Tampa too, which I was going to try and see if they have a disability service as well.
They should. I know SeaWorld does. So and it's the same company. But yeah, give other places a try. I mean, we are Florida, so
I know.
There's a lot of other parks. There's like Peppa Pig. Yeah, I mean, there's no shortage. I used to love, when I was a little kid, when we would come here on vacation, Circus World, gone now. but I had a blast in Circus World. Yeah. So there are, as a matter of fact, and this is funny, I know it's a little side story, but at that time, Ringling Brothers Barnum Bailey Clown College was also part of Circus World. And as in high school, as a senior, I auditioned for the Clown College, and I made it in. But I ended up going to Millikan University and studying music theater, so it was a different story. But Who knows? I could have been a Floridian much longer than I have been. Let me look at some of the chat. I know we have. I want to say thank you to Go and Shoji for sharing this, the Children's Heart
Yes, thank
Foundation.
you.
That's the link if you want to donate there. And Rover Boy became a member, and I wanted to shout that out before we get to some of the other chats. We have a little bit of a celebration. Let's celebrate!
Is it too much? Too much? It's a perfect! Wahoo! Oh, this is too much. Give me a break. I couldn't be more excited. Okay, this anticipation is making me mental. But if they say yes, you can be on the show. I think I would go so crazy.
That is what life is supposed to be. Celebration. And I think we can all celebrate a little bit more if Disney would be just a tiny bit more accommodating to everybody. And it was nice. The old system would, you go in, just talk to a cast member at guest services when you get there and say, these are the accommodations I need. And they would get you whatever you need. And it wasn't that difficult. Like Lorena and I have experienced, it hasn't changed the line waits at all. They're just as long or just as short as they ever were. I know there's a lot of comments, and I appreciate the chat today. We're not going to get to all of the comments today, but I want to just share this because Disney is running low on money. So they're even trying to get money from special needs children, which I don't know what the actual case is. I can't imagine Disney running that low on money. And here's the thing. Spend a little to get a lot. I have said this before. Under promise and over deliver. Disney used to be the king at that. They used to always under promise, over deliver. You would get to property. I remember this, my 2006 vacation when I was going from Missouri. And it was like, wow, we got to the resort, Port Orleans. We could use the French Quarter pool, our pool. The pools are amazing. The resorts were amazing. Transportation was easy. They didn't even have Skyliner then. It was just a bus. And it was fantastic. It was like beautiful, magical, integrated experience. And I want that back. I feel like everybody wants that back. I'll take it to Lorena, and then I'm going to give Tony the last word.
So sorry, I was muted. That's another thing I wanted to bring up. Universal, they have been under promising and over delivering. They have been building things and acting as if, what are you talking about? What coaster? What park? Until they actually announce it officially, and you're like, yeah, well, we've been seeing all of this construction, happening. So it's very obvious that what they said they were going to do, they announce, and you know that they've been doing it. And Disney used to do that, and it's really going to come back to bite them. And then definitely keep an eye on Universal. I've heard very good things again as well for disability accommodations over at Universal. I haven't seen any impact in operations at all. But another reason I think that they probably do very, very good at that is because when they will survey people as they come out, and they always want to know how they are doing in comparison to Disney. That's something they've actively asked for years. So yeah, not a good look, Disney, but it's gonna wind up coming back to bite them, and it's their own fault.
And then, ToriLynn, I just want to give you the last word before we exit today.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to compare services across these parks here in Florida. Going to give myself some homework now. Lorena, it was really nice to meet you, and thanks for all your input as well. And Ron, thanks for having me. This was hopefully I get some word out, and Disney will reevaluate this process and get back to what the fundamentals were with Walt Disney.
Absolutely.
I in the past when the park first opened, but whenever they started doing the paper fast passes, it was great. And it was free. So hopefully they will reevaluate.
I hope so too. I kind of had in my mind that, and I know it's be 3 queues, which might be difficult, but maybe not on every ride. But my idea was that every guest could get 3 free I can't speak. 3 free fast passes per visit. Okay, per day. I mean, like per day, but none else. That's it. You can only get on the 3 fast pass rides, and it would shorten your wait, but not necessarily a ton. Maybe it would be a 15 to 30-minute wait instead of an hour. And then for a very, very high price, like Universal does, have a pass that gets you to the front of the line on every ride, and you don't have to be on your phone to try and program. So that would be a very special waiting queue, and probably they could charge a lot, so that they don't have a whole lot of people take advantage of it. And they could limit the number of people using it. But a system like that, I think, would allow them to then go to you're offering a free thing, right? The people that really, really need an accommodation like yours, be very easy to go. Go up to the line, say, hey, when it's our return time, and then you just return and you get let on. You're still waiting, still waiting the same amount of time, but you're not stuck in a place where you're around people where with your son, some accident could happen. Mm-hmm. Right? We don't want that. We don't want that for any guests. So there's a lot of different ways I think Disney could handle this. But one way that they should never handle it is say, Disney may not be the right place for you and your family right now. That is mind-blowing. So I hope they do something. Lorena, where can people find you?
Well, folks, you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on X. You can, of course, find me on YouTube for various videos and live streams. And speaking of live streams, I will actually be at Universal Orlando this evening at 7:30. Going to be checking out the Halloween Horror Nights Scare Zone construction and taking the Hogwarts Express over to Hogsmeade to try and catch the Hogwarts Forever show before it goes away for the summer. So yeah, please do join me. And ToriLynn, it was a honor and a pleasure to meet you. Keep fighting, my dear.
And if you want to donate, Children's Heart Foundation right there. I will drop Lorena's channel link in the description after we end this, and I will put the Children's Heart Foundation link also in the description in this video in case you want to donate. Again, thank you so much to both of my guests, ToriLynn and Lorena, for being here today. We are sending you over to Culture Casino right after this. So when you go into Culture Casino, say hi from Follow the Bradley's Fun. Thank you so much, ToriLynn.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lorena. And thank you so much to all of you out there. Remember, hit the like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, and click that notifications bell, because when you click it, you stick it to the YouTube algorithm and you get notified of all of our uploads. Here are at Follow the Bradley Fun. Follow the Bradley's Fun. I'm hearing myself in an echo. It sounds weird. And you all know what WDW Pro says, so I don't need to say that. But you know, you get it. Keep enjoying your life, and God bless us, everyone. Until later. Hey, thanks. We'll see you real soon, everybody. Ciao.
Bye, guys.